Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Jacob King Among Men here, coming at you with a Subterror deck profile. I'm just going to jump right into it. Start off with the monsters. The only monster I run at 3 here is Subterror Fiendess. Got 3 of her. She's what makes this deck work. She's a hand trap that can negate any card effect from your hand or while she's face up on the field. To do that, she flips over any other monster and sends herself to the graveyard, and the card's negated for the turn. She also summons Subterrors, any Subterror monster from your hand or graveyard, which just really is what you need to make this deck work. Without her, this deck would be hot garbage. Next up, we got monsters I run at 2. The best one probably is this guy, Umatrix. He banishes whenever he flips. All the cards in this deck are flip effect, all the ones that matter anyway. They're big monsters with big flip effects. This can banish any monster face up or face down that the opponent controls. Super crucial. I like to get him out as early as possible. And also, with just like with all the other Subterrors, they can flip themselves back down during the end phase, which comes into play in a lot of different ways. You'll see when I go through some of the other cards in here. But their flip effects can go off a lot of times per duel. Next, we got this guy, Stalagmo. He's a big beater. He's level 10, so you can use him to make Gustav Max and any other rank 10 plays you need. I really like him, and he adds a lot of draw power to the deck. His flip effect is that you can discard a Subterror monster and draw 2, just period. Always nice to be able to do that in any deck. Next up, we got Subterror Nemesis Warrior. He is a level 4. He's kind of a playmaker. He tributes himself and another monster to send a Subterror to the graveyard, and then whenever that resolves, you special summon that Subterror. I think it has to be a behemoth from the graveyard to your field. That helps a lot. Then if you have Fiendesses, you can just use them to get whatever you sent back and make a whole big loop. You can make big fields really easily with this deck. This guy also summons himself from the graveyard whenever you flip a Subterror behemoth up. That is nice. He can recycle himself really easily. You do that pretty much every turn. And then I run some hand traps. I run Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit at 2. I would probably run Cherries at 3 and this at 1 if I had it, but that card's still expensive. Hopefully soon that will not be the case, but you know what she does. She just pops shit that activates. And then cards I run at 1. The most important one is Archer. She's really powerful. She summons a Subterror whenever she is destroyed by battle or card effect. I would run her more than 1, but she's very searchable and she's easy to get back out of the grave, so anything more than that's really unnecessary. At level 3, she's not great for a lot of XYZ or Synchro plays or anything like that. So 1 is enough. She also can destroy face-down defense position monsters whenever you have another Subterror, which is nice, but you don't really use it much. I run Subterror Behemoth Ultramophus, or whatever, at 1. He's the biggest beater in the deck. He's 3k. His flip effect flips everything else on the field face down, so if you combine him with Archer, you can do some pretty neat stuff there. He can get over most things, and if not, hopefully you can make an extra deck play or something, or just banish it, whatever. But, yeah, he hits hard. And then this guy has the highest defense out of the group at 26. He destroys set cards equal to the number of Subterror monsters you control, so you got to keep that in mind. If you have like more than 1 and your opponent only has 1 set card, you're gonna have to destroy one of your set cards or something like that. He's pretty specific, but he can be nice, especially when you're playing against like Paleozoics or something like that. Run him at 1. And the last Subterror I run is this guy, Philosophic Glacier or whatever. He's basically like a Foolish Burial. You can send any card from your deck to the graveyard when he's flipped, and he also has a really nice stat line at 26 attack and 25 defense. He can stand up to a lot of stuff. He's a good utility play. And the last 2 monsters in this deck, I run the 1 Ash Blossom I have. I talked about that before. And then this. This is kind of a wild card, Pot of the Forbidden. You may not have heard of this, but this card has 4 different flip effects you can activate, one of them whenever it's flipped. Those flip effects are a Pot of Greed, a Giant Turnade, a Ryajeki, or you can discard a card from your opponent's hand. You can pick one of those, and the cool thing about this is when you use Subterror Fiendess to summon another Subterror, you can flip this guy back down and use those game-breaking forbidden effects multiple times per duel. It's kind of a wild card. He's the reason this deck is at 41 cards instead of 40. Couldn't find anything to cut, but I didn't want to leave him out. He can just turn duels around if you can get him out. You do have to tribute summon for him normally, unless you can get lucky and get a Call of the Haunted or something, but he has won me quite a few games. Alright, moving on to the trap lineup. I have 3 Subterror Final Battles. This is a pretty new card, came out of Maximum Crisis. It also has 4 effects when you flip it. It can change a Subterror from either attack to defense, or defense to attack, face up, face down, whatever you want. Not face up attack, obviously. It can combine the attack and defense of a Subterror, or it can make it so your Subterrors can't be negated. So this is just basically a general Swiss Army knife of the deck. And the cool thing about it is when you activate it, it flips itself back down, so you can use it every turn. Very handy. It's the only trap I run at 3. I run 2 Call of the Haunted. I did run 3, but I would always find myself with nothing but Call of the Haunted in my hand. It was crazy. I don't know how it happened. So I had to take it down to 2. But it's nice to be able to get your Fiendus out of the graveyard really easily, or whatever you need. I run 1 Lost Wind right now. I've had this card anywhere between 1 and 3. It's new, it negates things, and it halves attack. It's really handy, but it can be kind of bricky if your opponent's normal summoning. It doesn't really work against true Dracos, so right now I've got it at 1. I've got 1 warning. I would probably have 3 strikes in here, but I'm poor, so I don't have them right now. It still comes in handy. It's a Solemn, you know what it does. I have 2 Unending Nightmares. This is a card that you could maybe replace with Flip Effect Monsters or something else like that if you're playing against the right meta, but who I play against, there's a lot of continuous spells and traps on the field all the time. This is also really good against field spells, which we all know are dominating the meta right now. What it does is you pay 1,000 life points and destroy face-up spell or trap on the field, and it's continuous, so you can do it once per chain. It just stops any field spell or continuous from going off. It's really handy. Alright, on to spells. I got 3 of the Hidden City. This card is also part of what makes this deck work. It searches Subterrors. Normally you're going to search a Fiendus, but if you already got those in your hand, you might want to search for something else. Also, while this is face up on the field, you can negate attacks by flipping a Subterror you control face up, which makes it flip effect go off, which is really OP. And just during your turn, you can flip Subterrors face up once per turn with this card too, which can be handy if you need to do some shenanigans, flipping face up and face down. It comes in play more often than you might think. After that, 3 Terraforming, just to search that, and also Necro Valley, which I have later in this deck I'm going to talk about. I run 3 Twin Twisters, just because Spell Trap destruction is very important in this game, and Subterrors naturally don't really have a whole lot of that, other than the guy that destroys set cards. And in that same vein, I've also got a Cosmic Cyclone, just to take care of what needs to be taken care of. I run 1 for 1. You can only have 1 of these, but it's a great way to get Fiendus out, and then you can summon the monster that you pitched for her right after that, most of the time. Run 1 copy of Forbidden Chalice. It's nice to have a lot of different ways to negate things, especially against true Dracos. 1 copy of Soul Charge. You know what that does. Brings everything out of the graveyard. Got to pay life points. OP card, that's why it's at 1. 1 copy of Raijeki, same thing there, OP card, that's why it's at 1, destroy everything. And then 1 copy of Necro Valley. It seems weird to have Necro Valley in this deck because it stops you from your own graveyard plays too. But it's very easy to get rid of, especially with the Unending Nightmares in the deck, or you can just plop a Hidden City down on top of it whenever you need to make your plays. And the deck is inherently a little bit slow, just because it relies on flip effects. So being able to stop your opponent from messing around with the graveyard on their turn, even if it's just for 1 turn, can be really, really nice. And it's searchable by terraforming, so that's good. And then I'll just do the extra deck real quick. I run 2 Castel. You know what Castel does. There's a couple rank 4s in here, or level 4s in the deck, so the rank 4 engine's always good. 1 Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. He's nice for getting over beaters. Abyss Dweller. He has a lot of utility. You probably know what he does by now too. Same with Giant Hand. This is just a standard rank 4 toolbox. You can mess around with this however you want. You can put Utopia in here, do whatever. Rank 4 toolbox. For rank 7s, I run Big Eye. Is that order? Run Big Eye at 2, just because he's so damn good. Stealing opponent's monsters is underrated, and he steals them permanently. Red Eye's Dark Flare Metal Dragon is also quite good, especially if you've already got your opponent on the ropes. You can just finish it right there. He does 500 damage for every effect they activate. I run one Gustav Max. You know what he does. 2k damage is always good. And then, as for my synchros, I've got a kind of limited pool here. I got a clear wing, but if you got really any good synchros, you can run them because the levels in this deck are all over the place. I use the hand traps as tuners, but if you want to put a more dedicated tuner engine in the deck, that's probably possible. Just kind of work with that on your own. Anyway, I'll leave the side deck up to you, and thanks for watching.